My wife and I came over from Jersey, and we had this plan over a month, and we came down for two different things, two different venues, and this was one of them. We invested money, we invested time, a lot of energy to get here from New Jersey. And to tell you a little bit, take you back to what just happened why I didn't want to be here. I have a history of alcohol and drug abuse. I'm a United States Marine. And before I go on, is it okay if we take 30 seconds of my time and your time to just honor our Canadian and our American soldiers? Is that okay?
Yes.
Somebody give me 30 seconds. So I want to take you back to why I didn't want to be here today, but I'm so happy I'm here. Thank you. My background as a U.S. Marine, I'm very proud of that, but I did not understand when you give someone a weapon, you should do some investigation, right? You should have a psychological profile with people instead of giving them weapons. I had buried some things in my life that I didn't know had happened to me. And they surfaced at the wrong time. You see, I was molested not once, but twice by family members. You know, young Latino male from the city. Grew up Latino, very prideful. I had really thought that was a dream. I really had buried this so deep that, like my good friend Marvin says, when I walked out, I was that guy. I was always happy. I was always cheerful. And when I went to bed, though, I didn't want to go to bed because these reoccurring dreams would come. I didn't know where they came from. I just assumed they were just dreams. I watched television. So fast forward, more dreams started to manifest themselves as I was getting older. I started now to drink more, not wanting to go to sleep. And this other reoccurring dream happened, and I've never shared this publicly in my life. In fact, I didn't even know I was going to do this tonight, but I have a personal belief, and that is I trust what shows up. One of these dreams came, my mom. When I was a kid, she huddled my sister and us in the bedroom, and she was challenged with alcohol. And she had suffered from depression. My father, as I understand it, had abused her, and she had grown up and moved on with some traumas in her life. So my mother huddled us into this bedroom. She takes this cigarette, and I saw seconds prior, she had flipped the cigarette on a box that we had used for clothes because we didn't have a lot of money. My mom was on public assistance. And I remember her throwing throwing the cigarette after putting something looked like alcohol and taking us on the bed. I would love to stand here today and tell you that I was this brave guy. I tell you what, I broke out of that and I ran out the door. And thankfully, my two sisters followed me. Thankfully. And we just so happened to live right across the street from my school. Literally, we just so happened to live right across the street. And fast forward, the ambulance and everybody came, and my mom had told this story. that somebody had thrown something in. I mean, it was a gang or something. And all of a sudden, I remember going to school the next day and watching. You would think I'd be going somewhere, but I went to school the next day. That was the safest place for me, by the way. Don't know how that worked out, but I ended up in school. It was right across the street from me. And I remember the firemen doing the cleaning and throwing my Converse sneakers out the window. And I remember how bad I wanted those Converse. And that's one of these memories that every time I see a Converse sneaker, I remember. Again, a dream that I had suppressed. And I've never shared this publicly. In fact, I thought it was so much of a dream because when it kept coming up, I asked my sisters, because I was the oldest. I said, listen, Marilyn, listen, Isamar, do you remember that house fire when Mommy did this? She's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So I just kept suppressing it even more. As I got older, kept drinking, then it was drugs. So these are the things that I dealt with, but like Marvin, when I walked out that house, it was salsa. Tu sabe, it was salsa. And so I developed this personality where everything was hunky-dory on the outside. Fast forward, I'm in the United States Marine Corps, very proud of that. And I'm overseas, something transpired, blank hits the fan, my name ends up on the president's desk. And from that moment, all the stuff that had happened by the house, the sexual trauma, all this comes to a head. I start drinking more. They take me in for a psych evaluation and say, well, what's going on? What's going on? And I remember having a Filipino psych doctor say to me, hey, so you want to get out of the Marine Corps? I'm like, yeah, because I had so much going on. It came to a halt where in essence, I snapped. I snapped with my M16. But luckily, I had held what's called my military posture and composure. And everything worked out. Everybody thought I was a hero for not shooting this guy. And I came back like, oh my God, you should have shot him. But the trauma and the combination of the spirituality, that connection that everybody speaks about. How did I get through the sexual trauma? How did I get through the burning? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I have to be honest with myself. There's higher order. Today, I have a higher power whom I choose to call God. I was always conflicted with that. Didn't believe, if I couldn't see you, if I couldn't have a conversation with you, I didn't believe it. I want to go ahead and hopefully, can you imagine right now, this person, this hurt person? Has anyone here ever heard of hurt people? Anyone? Yeah. Anyone? I was that guy. I started drinking so much, doing so much drug, just to get out of myself, just so I can numb myself out. I didn't have an illustrious career in the Marine Corps. I was always known as that guy, oh, that's Roman, man. I don't know if you won't be around Roman, last name, right, in the military, Milo Romano. And so I was that guy. People are like, man, this guy's going to cause some trouble. You don't want to invite him over. Let me share this one thing with you. I remember being at a bar, and I was with this young lady, and I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, she said, do you know that guy over there? I said, yeah, he's a great guy. I'm drinking. Hey, salsa. Right? You like that? Salsa. Hey, you see that guy? I said, yeah. He says, never invite you over to his house. You're freaking crazy. I was like, but he's a good guy. He doesn't know me. But word gets out. You can fool some people some of the time, but you can't fool all the time. So I thought I was fooling people. I thought that if I put on this, this good stuff here, I'm good to go. So what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Today, I said to you, I didn't want to be here. That little addict behavior the addict behavior, that little boy, in Spanish we call it a mocoso. Does anybody know what the word mocoso means in Spanish? No? Puerto Ricans here? I'm going to Puerto Ricans? What does it mean?
A little child.
A little child, she went like this, a little snot-nosed kid. So, my wife and I, to take this back, when we're coming here, I got into that snot-nosed mocoso kid, and I don't know how, and someone said it earlier, you get into an argument, you don't even know what the heck you were arguing about. I said, I'm not going to Canada. I was like this. And I got into this mode. And I'm like, what the heck happened? So what did I do? I called Gord, did I not? Actually, I was a coward, I'll take it back. I didn't even call him, I texted him. I was like, hey Gord, we're not going. Because I knew if I talked to him, he wanted to know more. I went ahead and I called Jennifer. I said I had to be honest. I did not call our friend Jennifer. I did a voicemail. You know, one of those boxes. Hey Jennifer, just letting you know. Sorry about that. Not going. She was like, I had people waiting on us. My wife and I had people waiting on us. Let me share this with you. My wife came, and my wife, you heard her speak. She's the smart one out of the two of us. She was reasonable. Again, as I was in my mocoso mode, and I canceled everything, the rooms, everything. The next day, she made an amends with me. She didn't have to. She wasn't the one who's got the issues. I am. She said, listen, babe, you can still go to Canada. We can still do this. We already paid for everything. Come on, let's do it. What was I? Mocoso kid. No, leave me alone. I had to be aware. And my wife reminded me that I need to stay connected to the divine, this God that I choose. Because when I'm following this path, when I am focused on what's right, and I'm honoring people, things just magically seem to happen for me. I'm going to, very quickly, I see a red dot up here. I don't know what that means. Hey, I'm the last guy up, right? So nobody okay, thank you. And Gord is going, you're good, and she's going, no more. Just kidding. But listen, let me share this with you in closing. I'm going to read you a letter. That's okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Dear Emilio, I just want to take this time to tell you how proud I am of you on your road to recovery from drugs and alcohol. God has blessed you so much in such a short period of time. You have finally completed your college degree in health and exercise science, which you love so much. You restored your credit, which was destroyed by living that poor lifestyle. You are now active and present in your son and daughter's life, which your active addiction robbed you and them from having your best self show up. But I just want to remind you, if you ever decide to pick up another drink or drug again, just understand that you should leave your car keys, your house title, your college degree, your marriage certificate, and all the money on that barroom table, because that's exactly where it's all going to end up. Congratulations again. Just know that I'm rooting for you. Your best self, Emilio Roman. Yeah. This was a letter I wrote to myself. My name is Emilio Roman. I want to thank you and leave you with that. Thank you.